Hey Stash fam, Steve here with ThunderStash Gaming, and today I've got my full hands-on review of Towa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree. Big thank you to Bandai Namco for providing me with a review code. I sincerely appreciate the support. Now look, this is Bandai Namco's very first roguelite, and after spending several hours with the full release, I can confidently say this isn't just a safe experiment. It's actually one of the most addicting, most colorful, and most surprisingly deep games I've played all year. Now, if you're a fan of Hades, Dead Cells, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate, which I reviewed on my channel, or even Okami as far as art style, you're definitely going to want this one on your radar. Let's start with this story and presentation. Towa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree takes place in a mystical Japanese-inspired setting where you play as Towa and her companions, the Prayer Children. These guardians are blessed by Shinju, the sacred tree, and tasked with purifying the land from Magatsu, a god of corruption who spreads miasma and despair across the world. The main goal is simple but powerful: defeat the 8 generals, reclaim the stolen mana, and restore balance to the world. The narrative isn't overly complicated, but it serves the roguelike structure perfectly. Each run moves you further into this corrupted world, while the village hub fills in the backstory with lore, character interactions, and upgrades. Visually, the game is a stunner. The painterly art direction feels like a living Japanese folktale. Characters are beautifully illustrated, environments are vibrant yet tinged with corruption, and the animations have a flow that feels both graceful and impactful. I said this back at PAX, but it bears repeating. This art style will age gracefully, like Disney's hand-drawn classics, or even Zelda Wind Waker. And the music, absolutely phenomenal. Peaceful when you're in the village, heroic and adventurous when you're exploring, and intense when you're in combat. It nails the atmosphere at every step. More than once I found myself pausing to kind of just soak in the soundtrack. It's the kind of score that makes the world feel alive. Now let's jump into the gameplay, and this is where Towa truly shines. The structure will feel familiar if you've played roguelites like Hades. You set out on a run, clear rooms filled with enemies, earn rewards, and push as far as you can before you fall. But here's the twist. You're never fighting alone. Instead, you select 2 prayer children, a Tsurugi, your sword-wielding warrior, and a Kagura, your spell-casting support. Combat is fast and chunky. With the Tsurugi, you'll chain attacks between 2 swords, Hanzashi and Wakizashi. You've got quick draw techniques, charged attacks that scale up in strength, and fatal blows that unleash devastating finishers once your mana is full. Sword durability also plays a role. Stick with one blade too long and it dulls, forcing you to time your switches. Your Kagura, meanwhile, controls the flow of battle with spells across 5 elements: fire, water, wind, earth, and metal. Spells like Adamantine Slam can smash enemies with massive force, while Indomitable Domain creates a shielded space that negates damage. What I love is how different Kagura types completely change your strategy. You're constantly thinking about synergy, not just brute force. The controls feel fluid and responsive, whether you're dodging, swapping weapons, dashing, or unleashing spells. Every button press has weight, and that makes the combat feel both strategic and satisfying. Now let's talk performance, because this is where your platform choice really matters. On PS5, the game runs at a crisp 4K 60 FPS, and it does feel buttery smooth. That's where I ended up spending most of my review time. The responsiveness during fast encounters, especially boss fights, makes a good difference. On Switch, the performance is capped at 30 FPS. It's not quite as sharp or fluid, but the portability factor can never be overstated. And this is exactly the kind of game that's perfect for a quick run before bed or during downtime. The art style holds up beautifully on handheld, so while you lose frames, you don't lose that painterly charm. Series X performs similar to PS5, and on PC, of course, you've got the flexibility to tweak things to your setup. In short, if you want the smoothest experience, go PS5, Xbox, or PC. And if you want convenience and handheld runs, Switch delivers just fine, and who knows, maybe it'll get a patch to perform better on Switch 2 down the line. Now, the pacing in Towa feels steady and rewarding, highly rewarding. The first boss fight is more of a tutorial to get you comfortable, but the real challenge isn't just surviving each run, it's in perfecting them. Every attempt pushes you to experiment with builds, master your timing, and make smart choices with your graces. And the long-term challenge, that's in upgrading your character stats and abilities, expanding the village through town building, and refining your weapons and spells. Runs may be bite-sized, but progression unfolds like a marathon. Layer by layer, you're making your party stronger and your town more capable. It's a satisfying loop because even if you fail, you're still investing in growth, and that's where the game really hooks you. It's not about one run, it's about the journey of getting better. In terms of content, Towa is absolutely loaded. You've got multiple prayer children to unlock, each with unique stats and movesets. You can permanently upgrade their health, attack, evasion, spell cooldowns, and more. There are graces, think of them like Hades boons, that come in 5 rarities from common to divine. These graces completely change how your build evolves during a run, and they're so varied that no 2 runs feel alike. Then there's the village hub. Swordsmithing minigames let you forge blades with special blessings. The dojo lets you customize spells and attributes. You can even expand the village through carpentry, building new facilities that improve shops and services. Add in hot springs, inscriptions, and even a community journal that tracks your story progress. And you've got a hub that feels alive and rewarding. So, who's this game for? If you're a roguelike veteran, this game will scratch that itch and then some. If you're newer to the genre, story mode makes it approachable without watering it down. In short, anyone who likes action, progression, and discovery is going to find something to love here. What makes Towa so dangerously addicting is how every layer of the game feeds into that just one more run mentality. The graces are at the heart of it. Each one changes your strategy in small but meaningful ways, and chasing those rare or divine level graces keeps runs exciting. But the real hook is how those runs tie back into long-term progression. You're constantly earning ores, upgrading stats, unlocking spells, forging new swords, and even expanding the village itself. Every successful expedition not only sharpens your skills, but also makes your prayer children and your town stronger, which, in turn, pushes you to try again and go further. Perfecting runs, experimenting with busted builds, and seeing your village evolve over time gives the game a sense of momentum that's hard to put down. It's the kind of roguelite where a single run can spiral into a 3-hour session because you just keep saying, okay, this time I'm really done. And, that legit happened to me last night when I'm playing the game. I thought I was going to go to bed around 10 p.m. and before you know it, it's 1 a.m. and it's 3 hours later. That's the kind of game this is. For Bandai Namco, Towa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree is more than just a new release. It's a statement. This is a publisher that's built on massive, established franchises, but here they are, taking a risk with a brand new roguelite IP, and I think it absolutely pays off. This game has the potential to stand alongside the giants of the genre like Hades and Dead Cells, and it shows that big publishers can still innovate and surprise us. I wouldn't be shocked if this becomes a new flagship franchise for Bandai Namco. Alright guys, now it's time for my final thoughts. Towa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree is a fantastic game. It's beautiful, it's addicting, and it's overflowing with depth. The art style and music are top tier, the combat feels chunky and strategic, and the dual character system makes every run feel fresh. And the Village Hub gives you endless reasons to keep coming back. Let's not also forget the graces. There are 215 different graces in the game, which is essentially the equivalent of boons in Hades. That number alone means the variety of builds, synergies, and strategies you can create is staggering. It's one of the main reasons this game never feels repetitive, and why every run feels like a new adventure. The real fun is in perfecting your runs, tweaking builds, upgrading your prayer children, forging new swords, and watching your village evolve. That long-term loop makes the game rewarding no matter how far you make it on a single attempt. I went in expecting a more than solid roguelite from Bandai Namco, but what I got was one of my favorite roguelites, period. And at $29.99, this game is an absolute steal. So whether you're on PS5, Switch, Xbox, or PC, I can't recommend this game enough. Now before I wrap up, don't forget to catch me every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Arizona time on the Nintendo Byte podcast, which I co-host with Nintendo Prime, Gamebird Classic, and Eric Moore. We cover all things Nintendo with new and reoccurring guests each week, and I'd love for you to join us live. Towa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree easily earns my Thunderstruck recommendation. And with that said, as always, remember, you're never too old to play video games.